In this video, we will be learning how to create a form to collect student data or student information. Once you are logged into your Drive, you have the option to create something new. So if you click on New, most of us are used to making folders or documents or a presentation, but if we go to More, up at the top, you'll be given the choice to create a Google form. So if I click on that, I am opened up to a place where I can start creating and constructing the form and thinking about what questions I want to ask students to get the right data. So first and foremost, we're going to want a title. So for this purpose today, my example is going to be a social studies class, and I'm going to be collecting social studies presentations on different tribes. So I'm going to name this Social Studies Presentation Turn-In. Some options right away I'm given are right here. I can click to collect the ISD 271 username accounts if I wanted to see those. I can show progress bar at the bottom of form pages, so that would show kids how far along they are on the form. I can allow only one response per person, so students can't go back in to resubmit. I can also, if this were a test, I could shuffle the question orders. Every time a student took the form, it would change the question order. But for this purpose, we're just doing a simple turn-in. I'm not going to change any of those options. I do want to change the theme to make it look a little nicer. I can click Change Theme, and you can scroll through and see what appeals to you. I'm going to go simple. So I've changed the theme. I'm now going to go back to Edit Questions. The first thing I'm going to want to know is who the student is. So I'm going to type in first name. I'm going to make this a text question. I have lots of different choices of types of questions, but I want the students to type in their name. I'm also going to make sure that I require this question so students can't skip it. I'm going to add another item and ask for a last name. Again, I'm going to make this a text question. I'm going to require it. I'm now going to add in a question to see how this presentation went for students, the difficulty level. So I'm going to add a scale question, and I'm going to ask, how challenging was this assignment for you? And it's going to give me an automatic scale from 1 to 5. I can change that if I want, maybe a 1 to 4. I'm going to put easy, very challenging. I'm going to require this question. And lastly, I'm going to add in a question to have students paste their assignment. So this is where they would actually turn in the assignment. So I'm going to say, paste the URL to your presentation here. And this is going to be a text question. It is going to be required. Okay, and that's typically all you would need for students to turn anything in. Just to kind of look at what some of the other options are, we can go to Add Item. Sometimes it might be nice to add a paragraph text question, perhaps, to ask students to give students the choice to add more information. So please share any questions, comments, or concerns about this assignment. Maybe that isn't a can of worms you want to open up, but nice to know that it's there and it's a type of question you can use. Maybe that's one that I would not require because some students will just want to submit their assignment and not share anything else. Down here, I can choose to have I can choose what I want the end of the assignment to say to students. So when they submit a little message, so I might say, great job, thank you for turning in your homework. So that's about it for this example. So I can go to View Live Form and I can see what my creation looks like to a student in Student View. So here's my form. To give students access to this, I would just come up here and copy the address, the URL, by Edit Copy or Command Copy. And then I would share that URL with students to get them into this turn-in basket. So just so you guys can see what this would look like from a teacher point of view if students started submitting things, let's do an example. So if I was going to submit my social studies presentation, I'd put in my first and last name, choose a challenge level, and I would go to my actual presentation, and I would copy the URL. Again, edit copy or command copy works. I'm going to go back to the form. I'm going to paste the URL, and I'm going to submit the form. So from a teacher point of view, if I go back into my drive, I'm going to see the actual form I created. So this is where I would go. If I double click, this is where I would go to change the questions, add questions, get rid of a question. And then in my drive, right underneath the form I created, are going to be my student responses. So if I double click there, I'm going to see the information I asked for. So the first name of the student, the last name, their challenge level, and the link to get to their presentation, which I, as a teacher, could click on and go view. So this is an example of how now in a digital world, students are turning things in online rather than an actual physical turn-in basket in your classroom.